Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And today for me was one of the days when we drove 50 miles to go and see an old buddy of mine, Dick Schultz. He was a very, very quality welding instructor here at the local vocational school and taught many, many, many people how to weld properly, how to create things, and how to weld metals together and make them stick together. And he done a good job of that over the years. He was a kind of a guy who had worked as a tradesman for a number of years. And in doing that, he learned the way of passing that skill on to other people. He had a little hands-on thing he did with everybody where he would say, okay, here's a couple pieces of steel, weld them together for me. And then he would take a look at them and he would say, okay, then we tear it apart, take it into a press and tear it apart, and look at it. And he would say, well, this looks really good, but the only problem is here you didn't get the connection good enough here in the center, and the strength is not there. So he would say, they would tear it apart, and he would say, now we're going to do it a different way, and I want you to put a helmet on and watch me weld it, and then we'll do it again, and then we'll rip it apart, and then we can compare the two parts, the one that we did before and the one afterwards, and you'll see how you improve. And Dick was very, very good at doing the hands-on thing, and he actually certified about 10 of our welders in this area who had been maintenance welders all their lives, but they had never been doing certified welding where they had to certified under inspection. And he was able to do that. Some guys, he had some fellows that in a matter of 2 or 3 hours, he was able to correct a couple of improvements required to increase their welding skills. So it went anywhere from about half a day, let's say to 2 or 3 days maximum. And this is working with people who had been welding most of their lives, but they still had room to learn. And Dick was the kind of a guy who could do that. He'd say, have you thought about this? Watch this. I'll do it this way. And he would let the guy say, no, you tried. And before long, the guy would say, oh, I see what you're doing now. And he was able to pass that information on. And Dick, pardon me, he's in a trail hospital still. He fell and broke his hip here, almost a month ago now, and they put a new hip in him, and new hip and hip joint, and they're teaching him how to walk properly again. He's got a walker, and hopefully he's going to get mobile again. And so we spent about an hour and a half today. It's the second time that I've talked to him over about a month, and he's a very personable guy. We're very close to the same age, and we grew up on farms, and we're from the old school. So today we spent a little time talking about what it's like to age. Now, because him and I are close to the same age, and we're finding that, the eyesight is not as good as it used to be, and, we've had cataract surgeries done, and he's had some work done, and I've had some other work done, and we reviewed the thought that we have to get used to the fact of giving stuff away, or letting it go. I guess letting it go would be one way to do it. So we talked today about how it is to be able to say, well, at one time I used to be able to walk 1 mile or 10 miles and 5 miles and climb mountains and hunt and fish and stuff like that. But as we age, we lose the ability to do things. Now, whether it's the ability to drive your car, or whether it's the ability to walk or lift something. And the other thing that we really got to be careful about is when you're climbing up on ladders, heights way up above the ground, you got to be very careful, because if you fall as a senior, it's so easy to break your bones. And we have to be particularly careful also about the use of drugs, because there's some drugs, medications that makes you sleepy, or they dull your senses. So you'll be actually trying to repair some problems you have in your muscular system, or maybe something you're having trouble sleeping or something like that, and you're taking a drug to help you do that. And as a result of that, your ability to react quickly goes. And some of that is natural, because as we age, our brain slows down a bit, and we don't do the things quickly that we used to do before. But there's no use laying down and crying about it. And no, I was very proud of of the way that we discuss things today, because we're both seeing things through the same sight. So what's happening to my friend there is happening to me, and vice versa. And as we age, we have to sit down and have some very serious talk about, say, these are the kind of things that I'm experiencing now, and it might mean that I have to go into a care home. I've got my name on a care home list, but it's just a living place, and I'm not sure whether I'll be there this year or not, because my health so far is quite good. I'm having some trouble with gout in my feet and my wrist and my shoulder. I'm having a meeting with my doctor in the next week or so. But we have to realize that as we age, there's things that are going to come up. And as they come up, we'll have to deal with them. Now, the nice part about meeting older people is the fact that we're able to compare. This happened to me, and this happened to you, and we hear the story, and we also find out about the kind of drugs that are being taken. And it might be drugs that are prescribed by the doctor. And sometimes when the drug is prescribed by the doctor, it might not be the best one. Keeping in mind that the doctors are trained to do their job, but in some cases, if they're a younger doctor and he's treating you, you might find there's another person with exactly the same ailment that you got, and he's taking a better drug. So if we find that kind of thing going on, it's best to write down the name of the drug and go back and talk to the doctor and compare some notes and say, was it possible I could try that? Because if it works for them and their system is reasonably close to what ours is, maybe a good chance we can have it tried out. You might say, well, we're not really doctors. Yes, that's right, but we are the end user. So remember, the doctor is running a practice. And guess what? They're practicing on you and I. So in practicing, that means to say they try this drug of this type, treat this injury or this condition in the vehicle or in the person, and it might work in one and not in another. So it behooves us as seniors to talk to other seniors and find out what kind of conditions they have and how they've been, the treatment they're getting, and find out how well the treatment is working. And I'm really happy because I had cataract surgery done, and I'm really happy with the work that was done. And before I had the surgery done, I talked to about 60 different seniors who'd had the surgery done, and the doctor who had done the surgery has now done up to 15,000 cataract surgeries, and I had not one person who had a bad experience. So when I met the surgeon and talked to him, the day I was laying on the operating table, about 5 minutes before the surgery, he said, have you got any questions before we do the surgery? And I said, well, I've talked to almost 100 people about the work that you've done, and there hasn't been one person complain. So I said, I have my full confidence in you. So you just go ahead and do what you got to do and tell me what you want me to do when I heal up. And I'm sure together we work as a team, and it'll be great. And I really appreciate the fact that I was getting a guy with the experience of Dr. Skippers out of Juanita, very talented man. And the medical system in general I find quite good. Once you get a doctor and get into the system, and they start treating you, usually the problem is found. The doctor gives a referral, and you go to a specialist either in the Okanagan or Cranbrook or wherever you have to go, maybe Vancouver. And if you're lucky, we always have to be prepared for the fact. We've had 2 people die in the last couple of weeks where they were having work done, surgical. One guy was having a heart surgery done, and he didn't pull through. And that's not the fact that we should all be scared, but the person probably had a condition that was serious, and when the surgery was done, the heart wasn't strong enough to withstand the surgery. That's no fault of the surgeon. But we have to be prepared for those kind of things. The only thing to remember is when we're getting surgery done, they're giving us a nice drug that puts us to sleep. It's the same drug that they use in the when they do the MAID program, medical assistance in death. And when they put you to sleep, you're sleeping. So I told my surgeon in both cases, when I had my eye surgery done and also when I had a couple of hernias done, that as far as I was concerned, 2 things were going to happen after the surgery. I was either going to wake up or I was not. Now, in the fact that you wake up and heal up. But if you don't wake up, you're already there. We're in the second heaven. Now, to just confirm my statement, if we're walking around every day now at past 85 years old, if we're walking and talking and driving and able to have fun and meet other people and live a productive life, sharing stories, we're in heaven now. So I don't know how much better it can be than that. If we're healthy and our eyesight's good and our hearing is good and we're walking and talking, we're in heaven now. So we're wishing Dick all the best, and we hope that he heals up and he gets back to his house again. And but if something should happen, he's prepared for that. If he has to go to an assisted living facility, he's fully prepared for that, and I am as well. And I think as we get older, we have to adjust our minds to accept what comes along and accept it as a better way tomorrow. And be thankful and grateful for all the things that we can still do. So we wish you a great afternoon and a great evening. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.